I had hoped against hope that I would not have to have this particular press conference, in which I am going to cancel some regular season games.
As if he couldn't be more unlikable.
I got two, so make the first one.
Well, you only get one.
Try this for a second.
He certainly tries, at every turn, laughing in the face of the players, fans, and everyone who works in Major League Baseball.
Is this your last, best, and final offer in a legal sense, or are you willing to say you're at impasse?
We never used the phrase last, best, and final offer with the union. We said to them that it was our best offer prior to the deadline to cancel games.
Now, pay close attention to this follow-up question she asks Manfred.
If it's not your last, best, and final offer, why would they have accepted it? If they knew they could get something better later.
Yeah, look, I think that take it or leave it in a negotiation is not something that I think is usually productive.
Well, kind of got pigeonholed there, didn't you? So much so, veteran pitcher Marcus Stroman tweeted, "Manfred gotta go."
You can see the difference in the offers. It's been large this entire time. Players right now are absolutely livid. One of the interesting things about this work stoppage, Kevin, is the fact that there's no clear reason for it.
Back in November, Manfred himself gave an indication at the owners' meetings in Chicago that a lockout could surface since the current CBA expired December 1st, 2021. Then came December 2nd. Manfred and the billionaire hierarchy of MLB owners locked out the players for the first time in 26 years. In 94, the league played a shortened season. Manfred insisted that he and his 30 bosses had locked out the players, in his words, out of a desire to drive the process forward to an agreement now. Then they waited 43 freaking days to make a single proposal to the players' union.
I think you also need to remember that the last 5 years been very difficult years from a revenue perspective for the industry given the pandemic.
Hold up. From 2017 to 2022, payrolls have gone down. It appears it's at the owner's behest, in that they simply aren't spending the money. However, prior to the pandemic, revenues for the league, well, they went up. So much so, the league saw record growth for 17 straight years. Disgustingly, in 2019, The Athletic reported MLB owners end their meetings in the form of a ceremony that ends with the presentation of a replica championship belt awarded by the league to the team that did most to achieve the goals set by the industry. In other words, the team that did the most to keep salaries down in arbitration. Kansas City Royals second baseman Whit Merrifield called the belt fiasco embarrassing and a huge reason we continue to fight for our rights and fair compensation as players. Via ESPN's Passan, player service time has been manipulated to keep them from free agency and salary arbitration. The luxury tax instituted to discourage runaway spending has morphed into a de facto salary cap, and too many teams are nowhere near it anyway, instead gutting their rosters and slashing their payrolls because the game's rules incentivize losing. Manfred is a guy who called the World Series trophy a piece of metal. He is a guy who says he cares about the product and the players, yet in December 2020, the league axed 42 minor league teams, reducing the total number of affiliates. Screwing the players is what he does. Manfred is the kind of guy who sat on his hands and chose inaction when the Houston Astros cheated their way to a World Series title with the sign-stealing scandal. It was a laughable embarrassment. Manfred is also the kind of guy to take out a coveted, respected, and credible reporter in Ken Rosenthal because Rosenthal was too honest about Manfred's poor tenure as head man of Major League Baseball. CBS Sports printed Manfred's quote, which reads as follows: "We actually hired an investment banker, a really good one, actually, to look at that very issue. If you look at a purchase price of franchises, the cash that's put in during the period of ownership, and then what they sold for historically, the return on those investments is below what you get in the stock market." What is he talking about? David Glass bought the Royals for $96 million in 2000. He sold them in 2019 for over $1 billion. Jeffrey Loria bought the Marlins in 2002 for $158.5 million. He sold them in 2017 for $1.2 billion. Then there was the report that Major League Baseball used 2 different baseballs during the season. Kind of a problem, because they did this allegedly in secret. Pitchers were dumbfounded. Hitters were dumbfounded. Many reports indicate they switched baseballs to keep offensive production down. Rough. It's actually not that hard to explain if you view baseball strictly as a business and understand the nature of capitalism, wrote Ken Rosenthal. But baseball became the national pastime because it occupied a special place in the national consciousness. Manfred and the owners are messing with something dear to their players, dear to their fans, dear to so many people, not just in this country, but also around the world. The owners wanted another win. Now everyone loses.